Shalom. First off, I want to give all honors, all glory, and all praises to Yahawah, Bahashim Yahawahshi, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS, and Ruel Shalom to the elect of Israel, beginning with the 144,000. And to all you Akim and Akwaf tuning in, I pray that the Lord bestows mercy and faith upon you as we enter into the last days, and may this lesson be edifying. This is the brother Halal from the Great Millstone Chicago camp, and I came across this TikTok, by a brother on TikTok. His page is called Biblical Scope, and I came across this AI generated video that the brother made, and I think that it would be a great video to use for this lesson that really encapsulates, what these scriptures is all about. Referring to the return of Yahawahshi. So I'm going to let this video play. It's really short in length. It's not that long. And then I'll interject with scriptures, and may this lesson be edifying to the elect.
Troops, go and retrieve my sheep. It's time for my sons to come home.
Babylon of Babylon, ye have taken my silver and gold.
Troops.
So, as you can see,
Go.
You see Yahawahshi sitting on the throne in all his power and majesty, and he's telling the angels what? To go and retrieve my sheep, my sons. And who are the sheep? Who do the sheep represent on the earth? It represents what? The elect, man. That right there is the flock of the Lord, the chosen. Those that repent and turn to Yahawahshi and praise his name in sincerity. And we know that we're coming into very, troublesome times. And when all hell breaks loose and Jacob's trouble really begins, there's going to have to be, major catastrophic events, in order for Yahawahshi to have to leap off that throne and give deliverance to his elect, man. That's why it says in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30:7, it says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." And that he is once again referring to who? The elect, the chosen remnant of Yahawahshi that praise his name and that repented and are sighing and crying for all the abominations and all the wickedness being committed in the earth. They're going to be saved out of Jacob's trouble. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1. And it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up," which is the archangel. It says, "The great prince that standeth for the children of thy people, and there should be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time." So this is going to be a time of great trouble and anguish and distress upon the earth, worse than any other time period that came before. "And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book," which is ultimately the elect, whose names were written in heaven, beginning with the 144,000, pursuant to Romans, the 7th chapter. The elect are going to be delivered from this trouble that's going to come upon the earth. But the wicked, they're ultimately going to be troubled. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3. And it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" So the disciples asked Yahawahshi, basically, when would be the end of the world? The end of Esau's world in particular, and the return of Yahawahshi. Verse 4, "And Yahawahshi answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing nation rising up against nation. Donald Trump recently made a threat talking about, if China touches Taiwan, that he would turn Beijing and Moscow to ash. You know, Moscow obviously being in Russia and Beijing, that's the I believe that's the capital of China, if I'm not mistaken. But we're seeing wars and rumors of wars, man. And eventually those rumors are going to turn into full-blown chaos, man. And these nations are going to launch nukes at one another, which is ultimately going to culminate in Babylon the Great being consumed in that great fire. And the elect is going to be in the midst of that. So what's going to have to happen? The great deliverance, man. The second Exodus. Let's go to the book of verse 29. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, which is Yahawahshi in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And those clouds are the chariots, man, which are what people ignorantly call UFOs. Verse 31. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven unto the other. So that's where the elect are going to be delivered. Because in the destruction of this place, Babylon the Great is going to be completely consumed in fire. You know, all 50 states, man. And there's going to be a giant desert. And the elect, the chosen of Yahawahshi, they're going to have to be delivered from that. And Yahawahshi is going to restore the elect in these times, man. So, you know, so I hope this lesson was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS and Rule Well, Shalom, Kwame Sharala, Wa Abba Babal.